busy week. I've heard a lot of people feeling tired this week. A lot going on. We're here. We're safe. We know where our surroundings are if we needed to know where they were. And it's Shabbos. We're on the handout. Right at the beginning. Actually, I'm wrong. Page 6. The sound might remind you we're just a little bit of time away from the holy days. Getting in that spirit.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Temple Emmanuel. Welcome to those who are here in the room with us in Greensboro. Welcome to those who are joining us digitally, whether you're watching it on the live stream or catching it a little bit later. We always appreciate when you leave comments and blessings, especially blessings. Oh, God knows we all need them. And yeah, it's been one of those weeks that deserves an extra deep breath maybe, or maybe an extra smile. Right? Look around the room and share a smile if you want with someone who you didn't come in with, right? Just make contact with somebody else. We can each be part of the reason that others smile. Shabbat Shalom. Our service will continue now with the candle lighting, with the lighting of the candles for Shabbat. Sharon Rothenberg, if you'd make your way up to the bima right now to bring a little bit more light into our world, Sharon. We're on pages 120 and 121 in our prayer books as we continue now and light the candles that will signal a time of peacefulness and restfulness and blessing for us and for our people in the whole world.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Whoops, that always does that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
So we're going to turn in our prayer books now to pages 138 and 139. This song is a song which compares Shabbat to like being at a wedding, right? Just a couple coming together. But this time it's maybe not, two people who have stars in their eyes, but instead our people and God connecting with one another and doing so, with Shabbat, or maybe Shabbat and our people, whatever it might be. Lecha dodi likrat kala, my beloved, let's go towards the bride, because we're going to receive the blessings and the goodness and the presence of Shabbat. As we sing this song, again, you may find yourself clapping your hands. No requirement to do so, but it's one of those upbeat tunes that we do to help bring Shabbat in. You're going to get a chocolate kiss. I need my chocolate kiss, people. All right? And you're going to get one. Don't eat it yet. Don't squeeze it too tight, because afterwards you're going to use it to bless other people, and by sharing it, because shared things are always really, really appreciated. And for those who are joining us digitally, if you want to use this as a moment or two to go get some chocolate, that's never something that we'll rule out. We'll do verses number 1, 2. I think we then make our way over to page 139 and do verse 5. And then when we slow it down for verse 9, and you may be used to this, but again, if it's your first time or your first time in a while, what we do is we face towards the entryway, like literally saying, come on home, Shabbat. Come on home to us. We're ready. Or maybe we're saying to ourselves, it's time to come on home. Whatever it might be, and we welcome Shabbat into our lives. When we're done with that verse, you'll see a lot of people start turning back this way, facing towards the Bima, but really towards our spiritual center in Israel and in Jerusalem. So follow along, and if you're singing along, that's great. Also, the universal Hebrew words, la la la, fit to this song too. Good. Just saying. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Shor zakor b'dur echad yishmi'anu el ha'milchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. She'tiferet v'leitila. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Two, likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki b'mekor ha'beracha, merosh mikerem nesucha, sof maseh b'machshavah tila. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat. Verse 5. Hitoreri, toreri, ki ba'atoreh kumi ori, uri, uri, shir naveri, Kavod Adonai Alayich Nigla Lecha Doki Mikra Kala Venishama Mekabela Lecha Doki Mikra Kala Venishama Mekabela. Now facing towards the door. Boi Vishalom Al Teret Ve'ala Simcha Uvetzala Tov Emei Am Segula Boi Chala Boi Chala 2, 3 Lecha Dodi Lecha Kala Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's take our seats now. And you should have some chocolate, a chocolate kiss. We've got a couple people here who are coming up and snagging a few extra ones, which is great. As we do so, I'm going to take, come on, let's walk out and we'll talk to people from closer. All right, hopefully you can hear me. Rabbi Hertz, go ahead and take one of the mics from over there. Yeah. Good. Anybody else need one still?
You.
I always put a few extra in my pocket. Did you say you needed one, Tim? Lon needs more. He has about 11 of them right now. You know, this is a very, very special Shabbat. Very, very special Shabbat. And one of the reasons that it is filled with extra blessing, right, is because we're all together, right? And that is a very, I would say it's another source of blessing. Let's take our hands and we're going to place them on those who are sitting next to us. Maybe they're part of our family, or maybe they're old friends, or maybe they're new friends. And by the way, you know, years ago I used to say this. I'm gonna go back to saying this also. Like, you might have someone you're thinking about, but they're not here in town, right? They may be, you know, somewhere else in North Carolina, somewhere else in the world, right? That you want to give blessing to, maybe in Spain or something like that. Just saying. Okay, Israel, wherever they may be. And I want you to keep them in your thoughts and in your heart and in your prayers. Maybe like even like you can feel their presence close, even though they may be physically far away. And you'll repeat these words of blessing after us, first in Hebrew, then in English. Yivarechecha Adonai, v'yishmerecha. May God bless you.
May God bless you.
May God keep you.
May God keep you. Ya'er Adonai.
Ya'er Adonai.
Panav elecha.
Panav elecha.
V'chuneka.
V'chuneka.
May God's light shine upon you.
May God's light shine upon
And may
you.
God be gracious to
And
you.
may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai. Panav elecha. V'yasem lecha. Shalom. May God always be with you.
May God always be with
And bless you with peace.
Bless you with peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Oh, take that chocolate, right, and share it with someone nearby, someone you really want to say thank you to, or someone that you really want to make sure has a real extra measure of sweetness and goodness in their lives. Our service is going to continue now. We are on page 146. Page 146 for Baruch Hu. And let's do this. We're going to open up the ark in just a moment. We're going to open up the ark in just a moment. So let's go ahead and stand together. Let's remain standing. We're at the top of page 149.
Let's read together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Ha'aravim. Page 150. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha,
Torah u'mitzvot, u'mishpatim, otanu limadata,
Alkein
Adonai Eloheinu b'shachneinu, u'menu nasiach b'chukecha,
ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו
לאורך ימינו,
ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, כיומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב
עמו ישראל,
אוהב
עמו ישראל.
Page 152, we join our voices together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Taking our seats, we'll continue on page 154 with the singing of V'ahavta.
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך בקום קיומך,
וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's turn to page 157 there in the middle of the page and just join in the indented paragraphs, please. Because we know that we live in a world torn by violence and pain. We know that this is a world far from wholeness and peace. And still, we turn to God and say, give us the courage to say that there is one God in heaven and earth. Together, the high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
And though our failings are many and our faults are great, it's been our glory to bear witness to God, to keep alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day
when the nations will be one and in peace.
Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Turning to page 161. After that journey of freedom, we ask God, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thought, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, Haporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. Turning the page once more to 162. Thanking God for this beauty of Shabbat, we sing Vishamru.
Let's stand together as the ark doors are open. We're on page 164 as our prayers continue. Adonai. Page 166.
Continue with a few moments of our own silent prayer through page 178. When you've completed your prayer, you may feel free to sit down. Page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha
Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol
Shalom.
Ki ata hu melech adon
Lechol Shalom. Shalom
Rav al Yisrael Amcha
Tasim Leolam. Shalom
Rav al Yisrael Amcha
Tasim Leolam.
V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך.
Shalom
Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha
Tasim Leolam.
Tasim Leolam.
Tasim Leolam.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Temple Emmanuel, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I want to start off tonight by talking about homecoming weekend. And just saying those words, homecoming weekend, may bring back memories for many of us. Homecoming weekend. I was not a homecoming royalty ever, nor was I a football player, but I remember a long time ago that our high school really got into homecoming. There were posters all over the school, ribbons that we would wear, pep rallies and everything like that. And if we made a big deal about homecoming in high school, then college was a much, much bigger deal. Well, maybe not at Tufts, where I went undergraduate, but definitely when I was the rabbi of the University of North Carolina, even though basketball was the biggest deal there. And I'll tell you this, because you know, and Jose knows, at the University of Florida, they do homecoming. Woo, do they do homecoming. Go Gators, right? Well, these days, for me, homecoming is really well in the rearview mirror. But I do mention homecoming just to start this, not because there's something happening down the block or whatever, but because this week's Torah portion begins with words and directions for our people when we come home. The words go like this in Hebrew. V'haya ki tavo el haaretz, loosely translated, here's what you should do when you come on back home. V'haya ki tavo el haaretz. Do these things when you come on back home. Now, in the Torah, it's not about high school, it's not about college, it's not about those type of homecomings, but it's about what we should do when we return to the promised land, when we come back, when we return there after our exile. We are at the end of the book of Deuteronomy right now, and we're about to make our way home. And I believe that that's the first instance of a homecoming, to the best of my knowledge, in all of recorded history. And what do we do when we come home? We tell our story. This is where we get the words that our ancestors were wandering Arameans, and if that sounds familiar, that's because we still use those words each year at the Passover Seder. We know this story. It's our ancient story. We were called to the land of Israel, the land that God showed to Abraham and Sarah way, way back when, 4,000 years ago. And then before we knew it, we were slaves in Egypt. Our freedom was hard-earned. It was hard-earned through toil, through sweat, through back-breaking labor, but we also earned it by wandering in the desert for 40 years. And then we came home. No matter where we have lived, what language we have spoken, how close or distant our relationship is to God or Jewish law, that's our people's core story. It's a story of coming home. That land, the land of Israel, has been our base. 2,600 years ago, the Babylonians defeated us. They destroyed the temple in Jerusalem and exiled us. You may know from the book of Psalms that it was down by the rivers of Babylon that we wept. And what did we weep, whatever the word is, weep for? We wept for Zion. We wept to go home. 40 years later, those Babylonians themselves were defeated. And we went home. Where did we go? We went back to that land which is our spiritual magnet, the land of Israel. And this didn't only happen in ancient times, after our exiles to Egypt and to Babylon. It happened in modern times too. Israel has been a destination, and for some, the only destination, in an often troubling world for Jews. Following the Shoah, the Holocaust, when many other places were still off limits to us, that's where we went. For the Jews of the former Soviet Union, Israel was a key place of refuge and the only place recognized as such by their oppressive government. Trying to get there might land them in prison, the so-called prisoners of Zion. And when the Soviet Union fell, many made their way home, meaning many went to Israel. We could tell stories about Jews from northern Africa, other Middle Eastern countries, Ethiopia, South and Central America, the Caribbean, Southern Africa, Australia, even the United States. I'm sure I've missed a number of places. And the countless of us who have visited Israel, even if we don't live there, have felt that our time there has been like a homecoming, like coming home. I know I feel that way, even though I grew up elsewhere. Grew up at a place where in high school we had a homecoming. Homecoming. Here's what you should do when you come home. V'hayaki tavo el haaretz in Hebrew. And it's not a new phenomenon for us. It's not just something that we made up in the 19th, 20th, or 21st centuries. This has been our experience for as long as our people can remember. But this year, the words, V'hayaki tavo el haaretz, this is what you should do when you come home, they have a deeper significance, it seems, for us and for our people. When I hear those words now, here's what you should do when you come home, it makes me think of the 101 remaining hostages, those who are still in captivity, now for 350 days, for 50 weeks since October the 7th. They went to bed that prior night, October the 6th, at home, and by early the next morning, they could only long to be back. And our prayer from that moment until now is that they will return alive as soon as possible, if not by the time we are home after services tonight, if not right now. It's so painful that so many perished on that day which started the war that everyone's still talking about. It breaks our hearts that some who were alive and so close to returning have been discovered, murdered by their Hamas terrorist captors, among them American Hirsch, Goldberg, Poland. We talk so often about the hostages, and it's so important, and we've kept this chair open for them. We talk so much about them, I have to remember that there are also so many other Israelis who are yearning to go home. You may know that in the northern part of the country, it really has turned into a veritable war zone. And I don't know that there are many that talk about this. There are still 68,000 Israelis in the northern part of Israel, border communities with Lebanon, who are not home. We hope and pray that they will be home sometime soon. Although with the news from this week, we know that that is another conflict that continues. They have not been home for a long time. So I really hope that there's a measure of strength that our prayers give to those who wake every day, if they can sleep, waiting for their loved ones to return, waiting to go back to the communities where they grew up, waiting to go back home. And I want you to know that we are with you. We're with you at this time. I also want to say that those words about homecoming are so important as the new year 5785 approaches. I say this really because we are within now 2 weeks of the beginning of the new year. And on the spiritual level, I have never felt more strongly the need for a homecoming. Not a parade, not a party, not a game, but a gathering with most, maybe even all of you, with all of us together and this temple family and community that we call home. I feel like this Rosh Hashanah, 10 days later, Yom Kippur, they can't come quickly enough. They can't come quickly enough for us to be together, for us to experience each other's closeness, for us to share our hopes and our challenges, for us to pray even more together, sing even more together, for us to hope that our people come home and that all people go home, for us to cry, for us to share, for us to smile, for us to hug, and for us to hope together. Call it what you will. This year, I know we always refer to them as the high holidays, but for me, it's going to be like a big homecoming in the real senses. In ancient times, Moses knew that gathering us together, having us stand together was a source of blessing. And if it was true then, how much the more so is that the case now? Homecomings bring us closer to community. They bring us closer to our core. They bring us closer to meaning and what matters. Jewish homecomings, as envisioned in the Torah, are meant to be those things and so much more. They're meant to bring us closer to our families, even if, especially if, we've experienced familial challenges. To bring us closer back together with our friends, even if, especially if, we have experienced some strains there. But homecomings are also designed to bring us in the Jewish tradition back closer to our sources and to God. That homecoming at the end of the book of Deuteronomy, when we're coming back from slavery, we brought gifts. In Hebrew, the word is bikurim, and we did so to show gratitude to God. Those bikurim, those gifts, were designed to bring us even closer to the source of blessings. I can only imagine the list of grievances we had thousands of years ago, 3,300 years ago, when after slavery we wandered in the desert for 40 years. We were exhausted. You can hear these complaints on the pages of the Torah and on the parts of the scroll. But we still found our way back, not only to a land, but to a closeness to God. As our song goes, we sang it at the beginning of services. Return. Return again. Come on home. Be who you are. Be what you are. And be where you were meant to be born and reborn again. Those connections that we have to our tradition, to our people, to one another, and to God, we come with questions. But forever, let's come home. May that be our blessing this year as we approach this Shabbat of homecoming, as we approach this Shabbat, which I hope has its smiles and its celebrations. But let's also do that as we're about to begin this new year, 5785. And let's do that together with a homecoming. That's what's ahead of us. May it be a source of goodness. May it be a source of depth. May it be a source of meaning. And may it be a source of blessing. To all those things, let's all say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Hello all, I'm Tammy Geyer, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, Shabbat Shalom. Fun fact about homes, Rabbi Andy and I went to the same junior high school in North Miami, Florida, and my husband and Rabbi Andy went to the same nursery school in North Miami Beach, and now we call Greensboro home. So did everybody have just a really tiring week this week? Like, raise your hands. Like, I think this is the longest week ever, so I'm glad to see I'm not the only one. But so, quick announcements then. You all know high holidays are coming up. This is not a news break for you. So you should have gotten your tickets and all of the great information already. Highlight just Slichot's coming up. And I don't know that that was in your high holiday materials. This is the service where we change the beautiful Torah dressings to the white dressings. We're going to have a short film. I don't know what it's about.
It's called The Last Repair Shop.
There you go, The Last Repair Shop. Probably not about your car.
No, it's about musical instruments.
Right, okay. So that's at 8 o'clock next Saturday. And then before I dive into the other announcements, please highlight and make a note of October 7th. We are having a service here at 7 o'clock here at Temple Emmanuel. This is a community service. I don't know that it's a really service as much as a memorial, a togetherness, a community togetherness. All right, announcements. And now I'm going to do some bragging about the sisterhood, but we'll start with the brotherhood. The brotherhood has its Pansy and Mum sale coming up. Alan Goldfarb needs your orders by October 4th. And now the rest of it is pretty much sisterhood stuff. So yay, sisterhood. The book club coming up on the 24th at noon. We have Mahjong coming up at 6:30 on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. If you don't know how to play Mahjong and you want to learn how to play, that is on Sundays, October 20th, 27th, November 3rd, and 10th at 10 a.m. here at Temple. And we also have the second annual jewelry sale sponsored by Sisterhood, and we have our very own Barbara here if you have any questions about the jewelry sale. Otherwise, I think we all needed a Shabbat, and I'm so grateful it's here. And once again, Shabbat Shalom, and have a beautiful week.
Page 371. Take an opportunity to bring to mind those in our lives and in our community who are in need of healing. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. This is a blessing not just for those in need of healing, but really for all of us. This blessing in the middle of page 371 asks that God help us be a source of strength and find courage to make our lives a blessing. And I think we all need that. So this first part of the blessing is for us. And then I'll invite you to share names of those you're thinking for healing tonight, the Shabbat. And then we'll sing that second part of the blessing for healing for them. Again, the middle of page 371.
The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Let's stand together as the ark doors are open. We're at the bottom of page 586 with Aleinu. Ushemo, 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 Echad. There are so many that we remember. We remember them each and every day. They're in our hearts. Those very special times. We also call their names out. And tonight we're remembering them, some of whom pass away recently, just within the course of this past few days, this past 30 days. Robert Sklar, Jane Pearlstein-Mayerson, and Betsy Fox. And we're also remembering those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of their passing, took place during the course of this past week. Remembering Arthur Cassell, Robert Klein, Judith Cox, Hilda Kubel, Judith Dector, Marcus Feeder, Mario Miguel Angel Fernandez, Albert Friedman, Imogene Garber, Betty Gay, Mary Israel, Meredith Kay, Max Kruger, Mickey Lieb, Francis Lowenstein, Ruth Marcus, Anita Miller, Robert Millman, Barbary Rosenbaum, Herzl Rosenbaum, Paul Simel, Adeline Wald, Wendell White, and Benjamin Weinberg. Zichronam livracha, may their precious memories always live on as a blessing, as an inspiration, as together we all say, Amen. Let's stand together one more time. We're going to join our voices together, this time for comfort and for support, on page 598, with those words of remembrance, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah, be'alma diva chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru amen, yehei shmei rabbah mevarach la'alam ul'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yet hadar, v'yet aleh, v'yet halal, shmei dekucha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Val kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved, and may God, who creates harmony on high, bring peace to us, to Israel, to the entire Middle East, to our nation here at home, as well as to all humanity, as together we join our voices to say, Amen. Friends, please remain standing. We're going to turn our prayer books to page 648. At the top of the page, that's our concluding song. But let me just point out a couple things as you hand me my guitar. First thing is that tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock here at Temple is Torah study. And together with Rabbi Hertz, you'll dig a little bit more into this week's Torah portion and other very, very special sources. The other thing that I want you to know is that this year for Rosh Hashanah, the first morning of Rosh Hashanah, we're going to have some very, very special, let's call them aliyot, you would be called to the Torah. I want to point out a couple of things. First off, any new arrivals to the family, like babies or grandchildren or adopted children in the family, however that is the case, we do a very special aliyah. That's the second aliyah. The first aliyah, we honor this year's recipients of the Book of the New Year, Ina and Ken Eisenberg. But we're also going to have, and you can just spread this word around, for those who are new to the area, for those who are, let's say, visiting the area, visitors with us. So you're welcome to, if you get, please, arrange with Temple to have visitors and guests here. But at the other thing, for those who are what I guess the world calls boomerangs. You know this idea of a boomerang? Like you grew up here, you went to the University of Florida, go Gators, homecoming and everything like that, and then you decided you're going to come back to Greensboro and live here. or at least hang out here for a while, right? And so spread the word around for those who like maybe have been out of town for a couple of years or maybe even longer or whatever. That's a very special blessing, and they'll be called up to Torah. And there are many others, and we'll send out the list, but hopefully you'll find yourself among the many who come up to the Bima for a blessing during the high holidays this year. We're really getting ready. There's already been a number of rehearsals for our singers this year, and we just have a lot of really, really beautiful things in store. Oh, yeah. Stick around also after services. We're going to go out in the lobby for Kiddush and Motzi. And you know how it works. You go to the far end, you take a cup of wine or grape juice and hold on to it, and we have a couple more blessings. And then the real blessing is you stick around afterwards and you hang out with people, you see old friends, meet new ones, and have some really good snacks. Top of the page. Open for me, open for all of us, the great gates of righteousness, that we may enter them singing praises to God. Pitchu li sharei tzedek. La 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 ya la 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 la.
Die, 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 die.
Shabbat Shalom.